Hello, welcome Dr. Sushma Singh this side. Today in Unit 32, New Social Movements, let us continue our topic New Social Movements and Resistance Against Domination. And our subtopic is Autonomy of Identity. The process of transformation peasant movement from radicalization to institutionalization has exhibited a trend of transition from the so-called old to new social movements. It has been highlighted that new social movements do not bear a clear relation to the structural role of the participants, that their social base transcends class structures, that they exhibit plural ideas and values, that their ideological characteristics stand in sharp contrast to the Marxist concept of ideology as a unifying and totalizing element for collective action, and that they involve the emergence of new collective identities. These characteristics of the new social movements, however, are not independent of their links with the past, nor is there any absence of continuity with the old, although that varies with each movement. Even movements with old histories have emerged in new forms with more diffuse goals and different modes of mobilization and conversion. It is both the newness of expression and extension, as well as the magnitude and saliency of such movements, that constitutes the basis for revised framework of understanding. The social agenda of the new social movements is based on local movements with multiple identities located in civil society, stressing new ways of social communication, solidarity, and mutual understanding, and a new harmonic relationship with nature. In the context of West Bengal and Andhra Pradesh, it is observed that old mass movement that advocated the emancipatory project for the proletariat through seizure of political power have given birth to various local movements of multiple identities. In the process of transformation of these movements and sustenance of these mobilizations, these have started exhibiting a plurality of ideas, values, and ideological orientations and collective action. The process of formation of the new collective identities frequently and explicitly transcends the predefined process of class identity formation, as most of the new collective identities, namely gender, caste, religion, and ethnicity, are autonomous of the given aims and objectives of the movement of the left parties. It would, however, be problematic to describe the autonomy of the evolved pattern of identity in terms of the new social movements alone, as the substantive issues involved in mobilization do not purely belong to the cultural domain alone. There are several political and economic issues involved in these mobilizations. Rather, through their everyday experiences of struggle and prolonged participation in collective action, the peasantry has been trained to defend their identity and to articulate the strategy of their resistance against domination. These everyday life experiences of resistance form the basis of the praxis of peasantry against domination, whereby they have also got alternative choices to express their resistance against domination. In the context of new social movements, the notion of autonomy has been used as the expression of personal autonomy, extension of personal and group autonomy, and as an expression of autonomy struggle whereby the social movement are allowed to grow without interferences from the outside. Subaltern studies have, on the other hand, visualized the autonomy of the peasant struggle in terms of their localized manifestation. Ranajit Guha argues that during the colonial period, subaltern constituted an autonomous domain with wide variety of generally autonomous modes of thought and action expressed through rebellions, riots, and popular movements. To him, rebellions was not therefore merely some automatic reflex action to external economic or political stimulus. It was peasant praxis, the expression through peasant action of the collective consciousness of the peasantry. According to Sumit Sarkar, the spontaneous unrest like the looting of hats, tribal movements, Kisan movements, and so on often tended to remain autonomous, scattered, and remained mostly outside the ambit of the mainstream nationalist movement in the colonial India. He also points out that the poor man typically outmatches his oppression not through any kind of joint action but through an individual battle of wits and often at a great cost to himself. Partha Chatterjee is of the view that the dominant groups in their exercise of domination do not consume or destroy the dominated classes, for there would be no relation of power and hence no domination. Without their autonomy, the subalterns would have no identity of their own. The new identities as have been evolved and constructed in the peasant society of Andhra Pradesh and West Bengal are in their own ways autonomous of the organizational, ideological, and predefined boundaries of collectivities as propagated in the class discourse. However, these multiple identities of the caste, gender, region, ethnicity, etc. have defined boundaries of inclusion and exclusion, and also at times use the organizational linkages and ideologies of wider society as guiding principle for their actions. For example, the ethnic movement in North Bengal and in the Telangana region, the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe preservation movement, civil liberties, women's groups, etc. have formed their own organizations at the regional and the state level. Likewise, is the process of formation of NGOs, which is linked with the emerging social development discourse of development with empowerment. The self-assertion of, say, a scheduled caste laborer and a tribal woman are also linked to the resurgence of the Dalit and women's movements at the grassroots. But all these identities and linkages of these identities to the wider world are not sudden manifestations, nor are they imposed from the outside by the intervention of outside agencies. Rather, peasantries has articulated their issues through their everyday experiences, and the new identities are formed from within the process of responding to the emerging challenges they regularly face. Sustained mobilizations have been made the peasantry aware of the various bases of their oppression and subordination in society, be it caste, class, ethnicity, regionalism, gender, etc. Hence, they are to articulate accordingly the art of their resistance both individually and collectively. if needed by the restructuring parallel and at times alternative identities. Here, linkages with the outside agency come at a later stage through increasing interactivity with the larger world around. Palu Ravindra Rajan, a dual caste leader from Warangal in Andhra Pradesh, recollects his experience. We have been oppressed and exploited in various ways. At times, we are exploited as a Madiga scheduled caste. Our women are exploited as women laborers and as dual caste members. We are also exploited and discriminated against the Telanganis. As we have aware of the various situations of our oppression, we resist it in all possible ways. Our oppression, however, does not end. If we resist from one direction, it appears from the other. We try to resist oppression from all possible directions now. In spite of transformation of the peasant movement from the phase of the radicalization to institutionalization and sustenance of the mobilization, the peasantry continues to be marginalized. Though their identity has been reconstructed over the years, the elements of marginality both in the socio-economic and the political sense remain attached to them. The issue of the livelihood scrutiny is of crucial significance to the peasantry. They tend to use the available channels of political mobilization and activism to ensure the daily livelihood. They are to compromise at times with the structure of domination for their livelihood security. In this context, their participation in routinized collective mobilization, even if it contributes to their domination, is a matter of their rational calculation. Indeed, through sustained mobilization, peasants have been able to carve out a space for the articulation of their interests and formation of new identities that look for liberation from the cohesive basis of the dependency and domination. Through these identities, they try to gain legitimacy of their praxis against domination. Here we want to close this lecture. Thanks for listening.